I'm going to go over the Poland Peasant Revolution minigame. First thing we need to do is select national focus, and we're going to select Organize the Peasant Strike to unlock the minigame. In the meantime, you can set up your factories and research however you want. It doesn't really matter what you end up deciding for this. Now that this focus has completed, if we go to Events and Decisions, there's now a section for Organize the Peasants Strike. And with this tab open on the game map, you can see that there are these decisions within Poland. For the time being, I'm limited to provinces that are in the eastern half of the state. So I want to take one of these in order to unlock the decision to expand strikes to the factories. Right now that is unavailable, but that is very important to get some of those provinces. And I also want to start seizing military equipment. The more military equipment you can seize, the better off you'll be. So to make that option available, let's select all of our divisions, and I'm going to change out the template to cavalry. Now if we go back to our events and decisions, we can now see some equipment. Every time you take one of these decisions, if you look at the tooltip, you'll see that one of the effects is it'll remove days from mission Looming Peasant Strike, this countdown timer. After this timer runs out, there's a second one, so you don't have to worry about it too much. There's plenty of time. In the meantime, I'm going to continue down the focus tree because I need to get to State, National Council, and Armed Peasant Militia to have a stronger starting position. So this timer on Woland to bring them into the strike is almost complete. And now that it has completed, you can see expand strikes to the factories is available. I don't have enough political power to take that yet. So in the meantime, now that I have 25 political power, I'm just going to expand the strikes into another province and continue waiting. With the completion of this national focus, we have some choices, but I want to start with State National Council because I need the political power and army experience that it opens up. So go ahead and take that. Luckily it's only a 35-day one. In the meantime, I'm going to continue expanding the strikes. With this national focus completed, I now have a lot more political power. So I'm going to expand the strikes of the factories, and you may have noticed Wu General Staff appeared after the last national focus. I didn't talk about it because I don't really care about the benefits it provides, so I don't use it. In the meantime, I'm going to expand the strikes more and take the national focus Armed Peasant Militia. I also want to go ahead and create a new division, and I'm going to make sure that it's not very good by just adding a single cavalry unit and make it reserves. And that's going to allow me to switch out my army to that new template and make even more infantry equipment available to be seized. So take that, and now that expanding the strikes of the factories has completed, you now see we have expanding the strikes option on the western half of the country. So once I let this current one complete, I will start grabbing some of these states that have a lot of factories. Usually I start down here in Katowice and start working north and just grab as many as I can before the countdown timers expire. So So now that that one has completed, you can see I've taken over a couple provinces, quite a few provinces in the western or eastern half of Poland. Now it's time to start working on the western. Now that the peasants are armed, you can start working on some of these choices to the left, or you can just choose whatever you want. At this point, the mini game is more important than the national focuses. And keep on seizing military equipment as that option is available, and working up, grabbing these western provinces. I've ran out of political power again, but since I need to choose a national focus, clamp down on Danzig is a good choice because it'll give you 70 political power. So here we are looking at looming peasant strike. That just completed that countdown timer, and you can see I got the notification, and now we have the second countdown timer, the peasant strike. So we have 150 more days of making these choices. However, every time you complete one of these, it removes some time from that countdown. Continue grabbing some of these western provinces so you get the factories. At this point, I'm prioritizing grabbing provinces over military equipment until I get some more political power. And pretty soon you're going to want to start considering the length of these different missions, I guess you'd call them. Oops, I accidentally choose Woo General Staff. I didn't want that. I meant to click Seize Military Equipment. But that's fine. We have plenty of military equipment. But what I was getting at was you want to start taking into account how long these are active for, and then also how much time it will remove from the countdown once they're completed. There's nothing worse than wasting some political power on these when they don't give you any benefits. I had a couple decisions complete, and now I'm at the point where there's only 16 days left, so I'm not going to make any more decisions, and I'm just going to run down the timer and save my research for next year. But so here we go, just running down the timer, taking national focuses that don't really matter. Once the timer runs out, we can see that Poland has declared war on us. So, need to organize the army. The green areas are all the provinces that I took through those decisions. And I want to select the divisions in different areas and assign them to their own armies to make sure that they get to the front line quickly. So I'll assign field marshals and generals to make sure that I don't get confused as to where these units are. You don't have to worry too much about this because we're going to be so overmatched. We'll add a couple more cavalry. I almost forgot, you also want to change your cavalry back to the normal cavalry instead of these weak ones that we made. So go ahead and grab whatever's left, throw it into this one. And you can set these guys to attack aggressively, and you don't even have to micromanage. So let's unpause, see what happens. Now once the units get to the front line, you could micromanage them and tell them to rush these victory points just to try to make this go a little faster, but it really isn't all that necessary as long as they attack aggressively. And Warsaw wasn't even defended, so we got that one quickly. And the war is over. Now peasants have won.